Today, we are heading to India to explore two of the most incredible UNESCO World Heritage Sites you can imagine, the Ajanta and Ellora Caves. Now, when you hear caves, you might be thinking of just, holes in a cliff, but no. These are massive, sprawling complexes of temples and monasteries, entire cities carved right out of the solid rock. They tell this unbelievable story of faith, of art, and of human ingenuity that honestly is hard to wrap your head around.
So let's just start with the one question that will be echoing in your mind the whole time we talk about this. I want you to really picture it. Forget about bricks, forget about mortar. Imagine you're standing in front of a giant, solid mountain, and your only tools are a hammer and a chisel. And your job? To create a multi-story temple inside of it. It sounds completely impossible, doesn't it? And yet, they did it. The big mystery is how.
Okay, first things first. Even though people often say Ajanta and Ellora in the same breath, it's really important to note they are two totally separate places. They're about 100 kilometers apart, and each one has its own unique story. You could say Ajanta is a deep dive into one specific faith, while Ellora, well, Ellora's this amazing meeting point of three different religions. So let's kick off our journey at Ajanta.
Our first stop, Ajanta, is a place dedicated entirely to Buddhism. It's this breathtaking series of monasteries and prayer halls, all carved into a stunning horseshoe-shaped cliff. But what's really wild is that for almost 1,000 years, nobody even knew it was here. The entire complex was just lost, completely swallowed up by the jungle, its incredible art and all its stories totally hidden from the world.
Now you've got to understand, Ajanta wasn't some quick project. Its creation actually stretched out over 700 years, and it happened in two really distinct phases. The first phase was way back around the 2nd century BCE, but then there were centuries of silence. Nothing happened. Then, all of a sudden, in the 5th century CE, a second, even more magnificent phase of building began. And that huge gap in time, that's the secret to understanding everything about the art inside.
So how is this lost world found again? It was pure dumb luck. Seriously. In 1819, a British Army officer named John Smith was out hunting tigers. He followed one into this ravine, and as he looked up the cliff face, he saw what looked like an archway, something man-made. He climbed up to investigate and just stumbled upon this forgotten masterpiece, bringing Ajanta back into the light after centuries in the dark. So what's with the two separate building phases? Well, it all comes down to a major shift in Buddhism itself. The older caves, from that first phase, belonged to the Hinayana school of thought. They saw Buddha as a great teacher, but not a god, so their art was very symbolic. But the newer caves, they belonged to the Mahayana school, which viewed Buddha as a divine being. And that's why those later caves are just bursting with these elaborate statues and incredibly vibrant paintings of Buddha himself.
So what were these caves actually used for? The best way to think about it is like a huge monastic university, carved from rock. The caves called viharas were basically the dorm rooms. Large halls with little sleeping cells carved into the walls where the monks would live, sleep, and study. And then you had the chaityas. These were the grand prayer halls, like the university chapel. These beautiful, sacred spaces for worship.
The walls of Ajanta are just covered in these stunning paintings that tell stories from the Jataka tales, which are all about the Buddha's past lives. One of the most famous ones shows the Buddha to be as a great monkey king. When a human king trapped his tribe in a tree, he stretched his own body across a canyon to create a living bridge so that every single one of his monkeys could escape to safety, sacrificing himself to save them. It's just such a powerful story of leadership right there on the wall.
All right, let's hop in our imaginary car and travel about 100 kilometers away to our second site, Ellora. And this is where the story gets really different. If Ajanta was a deep, focused study of one religion, Ellora is this spectacular monument to religious coexistence. Here you find Hindu temples, Buddhist monasteries, and Jain sanctuaries all carved side by side into the exact same rock face.
I mean, just look at the breakdown here. Out of the 34 main caves at Ellora, you've got 17 that are Hindu, 12 are Buddhist, and 5 are Jain. The fact that these three different faiths were creating their sacred spaces in such close proximity over hundreds of years, it's just this powerful silent testament to an era of incredible religious tolerance and harmony. And while they all share the same mountain, each group brought its own unique artistic flair. The Hindu caves are just bursting with dynamic, powerful sculptures of gods like Shiva and Vishnu in action. The Buddhist caves have this deep, serene, and contemplative feel. And the Jain caves are famous for their incredibly intricate, detailed, almost lace-like carvings. It's like a symphony of different styles all playing together in stone.
And now, we arrive at the heart of Ellora, the absolute showstopper. And honestly, it might be the most mind-blowing rock-cut structure on the entire planet, Cave 16, the Kailasa Temple. This isn't just a cave. It's an entire, massive, multi-story temple complex, and it was carved from a single piece of rock.
To give you a sense of the scale we're talking about here, try to picture this. To create the Kailasa Temple, workers had to excavate and remove 40,000 tons of solid volcanic rock. 40,000 tons. That's like the weight of 8,000 adult elephants. It's a project that would be a massive challenge even today, with all of our modern machinery.
And this, right here, is the crucial point. This is the detail that changes everything and just breaks your brain. Nothing was added. The Kailasa Temple wasn't built up by stacking stones. It was revealed by taking stone away. The whole thing, the courtyards, the bridges connecting buildings, the giant pillars, it's all one single gigantic sculpture.
This is what makes it such an engineering genius move. Think about how we build anything today. We start at the bottom and build up, right? Layer by layer. Well, the creators of Kailasa flipped that script completely. They started at the very top of the cliff and painstakingly chiseled their way down, basically freeing the temple from the mountain around it. And this completely counterintuitive method meant they never needed a single piece of scaffolding.
So you have to ask, why on earth would they choose such a difficult method? Well, there's this wonderful legend that might explain it. The story goes that a king felt terribly ill. His queen prayed and made a vow that she would fast until she saw the peak, the shikar, of a new temple to Shiva. Well, to save her life from a dangerously long fast, the architects cleverly came up with a plan: carve the temple from the top down. That way, they could finish the peak first, she could break her fast, and this incredible temple was born.
And get this, for a testament to its construction. In the 17th century, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb actually ordered the temple to be destroyed. He sent 1,000 men to do it, but after 3 years of trying, they could barely make a dent. They managed to chip away at some of the statues, but because the temple is the mountain, it proved to be practically indestructible.
So, after this incredible journey through both of these sites, what's the lasting legacy of Ajanta and Ellora? I mean, what do these silent, ancient stones really have to say to us here in the 21st century?
Okay, so let's just do a quick side-by-side to lock it all in. Ajanta is the older site, it's exclusively Buddhist, and it's world-famous for its incredible paintings and murals. Ellora is the younger site, a mix of Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain faiths, and it's renowned for its massive, monumental sculptures. The big highlight at Ajanta is the storytelling in the frescoes, while at Ellora it is without a doubt the mind-bending architecture of the Kailasa Temple.
At the end of the day, these caves are so much more than just archaeological wonders. They represent a peak of human artistic skill, and they speak to this incredibly deep faith. But maybe the most important lesson, especially from Ellora, is that they stand as this timeless, powerful symbol that people from different beliefs can not only live together peacefully, but they can actually create incredible beauty side by side.
Ajanta and Ellora really remind us that our planet is kind of like a giant library made of stone, with these epic stories of faith, community, and sheer ingenuity carved right into its pages. And it just leaves you wondering, what other incredible chapters are still out there, just waiting for someone to turn the page?